Hello everyone, Tactical Lich here. Today we have a battle replay picked up from the Nightcrew clan Discord sent in by Yumae, playing as the High Elves versus Anti-Kaiju's Grand Cathay. For the army builds here, Yumae probably expecting for a lot of Grand Cathay artillery, going for 4 Eagle Claw bolt throwers in total. In the front, we have some Illyrian Reaver archers as a bit of skirmisher, and on the flanks, White Lions of Thrace backed up by some Silver Helms. Same goes for the other side. Further back, 2 infantry units, 1 White Lions of Thrace and 1 Spears guarding the Eagle Claw bolt throwers, though these artillery will be disappointed because Grand Cathay is not bringing any artillery today. The High Elves did bring an air force today with the Skittles bird, the Arcane Phoenix. Leading the army, an Archmage of Shadows coming in with Withering and Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma. For the other side of the battlefield, the Grand Cathay army, a front line of Jade Warriors backed up by a second line of Jade Warrior crossbows, providing that harmony and also fire support. On the left flank of the Grand Cathay army, 2 Peasant Horsemen supported by an Onyx Crowman, and on the right flank, we have a more elite mobility contingent, the Empress Crowman coming in with their Nangao grenades, plus 3 whole units of Jade Lancers ready to emerge from the forest and run down the High Elves back line. Of course, don't forget about the sneaky deployment all the way on the corner of the battlefield, waiting to sneak up on the High Elves from behind. Leading the army, we have the Dragon-Blooded Shugengan Lord of Yin coming in with Storm of Shadows to slow down enemy mobility and Talons of the Night for the AoE damage. That's it for the army builds, now let's get the battle started. Without any Cathay artillery, the Eagle Claw bolt throwers have nothing good to snipe, so they will have to expand their ammo on something else. For example, the Empress Crowman and Onyx Crowman on both sides. One of them is already getting hit by the scatter shot, taking some substantial damage, especially with Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma draining their health away. In the front line there, Illyrian Reaver archers are being pushed back by the crossbow counterfire, while over here, on the right side, regular Onyx Crowman also being pushed back by a combination of Arcane Phoenix slapping them in the face, plus the Eagle Claw bolt throwers and Illyrian Reaver archers providing a bit of supporting fire. Now, the Cathay mobility are moving up. At the back there, the 2 Vanguard deployed Peasant Horsemen are moving out of the forest, bounding straight for the Eagle Claw bolt throwers. The White Lions of Thrace are in place to block one of them, but the other one not so much, and unfortunately these Eagle Claw bolt throwers will soon be disrupted and shut down. Multiple Jade Lancers are also moving up into position, but the Silver Helms are ready to intercept them. Withering lowering that armor on the Jade Lancers, allowing the Silver Helms to do a bit more charge impact damage, and on top of that, Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma should be able to drive back these Jade Lancers in a quick hurry, especially with the support of the Archmage of Shadows. Talons of the Night here trying to work down the Spearmen, but not doing too much damage. Actually no, 1/3 of their unit is just dead right there. In the skies, Arcane Phoenix is staying a little bit idle as the infantry of Cathay starts pushing forward, though the White Lions of Thrace are there to countercharge them and fight them in melee. With their armor piercing and martial prowess, they are one of the few mid-tier infantry that can trade efficiently into the Jade Warriors. But there are only 2 White Lions on the field and 5 Jade Warriors plus a ton of mobility, so there is a lack of manpower on the High Elf side right now. They simply don't have the numbers to fight off the Cathay push. In this guy's Empress Crowman will be moving in. They really need to drop their grenades at some point. The grenades are attached to each unit, so as they start losing unit models, their bombardment will also be weaker as well, which is why they would want to use the bombardment ability as soon as possible before they take too many losses. Here we go, a little bit of bombing run and doing some minor damage to the White Lions of Thrace. Now they'll be moving on to the Eagle Claw bolt throwers. Over here, White Lions of Thrace finish off half the unit of the Jade Warriors. While are they getting shot at by the Jade Warriors crossbow? Yes, they are, but their heavy armor plus missile resistance from their Lion's Pelt will help them hold for now. A combination of Arcane Phoenix and Silver Helms managed to push back all of these Peasant Horsemen, and now the Silver Helms are able to shut down the Jade Warriors crossbows. Though, unfortunately, the mobility of Cathay, the sheer numbers, is able to overwhelm the High Elf positions. The Eagle Claw bolt throwers are all shut down, completely overrun by the Jade Lancers. At least the Reaver Archers have the mobility to move to a safer position, now unleashing the rest of their ammo into the Cathay forces. Their arrow fire eventually whittled down the Crowman units. Both Crowmen are on their last legs. Archmage tried to fight the Shugengan Lord, but a Storm of Shadows pinned her down, preventing her from pursuing the Cathay Lord, allowing the Shugengan Lord to flee to safety. the Archmage would just have to fight something else. For example, the Jade Lances here being hit once again by Melkoff's Mystifying Miasma, a very efficient spell to work down cavalry in general. On far side there, Silverhelms finished pushing off some Jade Lances and will be returning to the fray, trying to run down these Jade Warriors with crossbows. Unfortunately though, the heavy armor means that after the charge impact damage, the Silverhelms would actually struggle to work down all these missile infantry. Over here, the Onyx Crowman will be routed by the Illyrian Reaver Archers, while the Jade Lances, being shot by the Skirmishing Firepower, will be taking some noticeable damage, and on top of that, Withering, boosting that non-armor piercing damage from all the High Elf units, plus that leadership debuff managed to break off these Jade Lances, and the Archmage of Shadows, not exactly the most powerful combatant, is still able to push off these melee cavalry. Now let's have an overview of the battlefield. The Grand Cathay army has a pretty tattered front line, but their missile troops are still quite healthy. The High Elves still have some mobility, especially the Arcane Phoenix dropping the Ember Storm on the crossbows, while the White Lions, one of them still quite healthy, the other one being routed by a combination of mobility. The healthy one is just hacking through the Jade Warriors without any issues. Some peasant horses try to pursue the Illyrian Reaver Archers, but I do think that the Reavers will be fine because their melee stats are boosted by martial prowess. Their melee stats are good enough to hold their own against the weak peasant horses, allowing them to flee back to safety while shooting their opponents in the face. Especially with the Archmage of Shadows diving down, they should be able to push back these Cathay mobility. Although, I do have to say, the Cathay forces managed to re-secure their backline here. Crossbows are regrouping, and they are defended by Jade Warriors. The White Lions are still fighting, but at less than half health. I don't think they have enough steam to push through the Jade Warriors under crossbow fire. On the far side, there's Silverhelms running down some scattered Jade Warrior units, and the Shugengan Lord desperately trying to stop their pursuit. Unfortunately, I don't think they can do enough here. One of them might get routed, but this one is still relatively healthy with over a quarter of HP left. The White Lions of Shays here, unfortunately, is a little bit idle here. They need to start pushing and driving back the Jade Warriors and crossbows, but they're now disrupted by the Empress Crowman, who can actually do some okay impact damage, even against the armor of White Lions, while the Jade Warriors will be pinning them down as well. With skirmishers running out of ammo, White Lions being whittled down, it is up to the single entities to carry the game for High Elves. The Arcane Phoenix is taking damage. Storm of Shadows is holding it down, preventing it from escaping these Cathay mobility, although I don't think these Cathay mobility can do too much damage against it. The Silverhelms is also driving back the rest of the crossbow infantry, so doing some pretty good work there, while these Illyrian Reaver Archers ran out of ammo and needs to start moving away from all these Jade Warrior crossbows. Yes, they have decent enough melee stats, but their armor is super low, so if they stay around for too long, they will just get shot to pieces before they can even squeeze out the last bit of their value, which is charging into melee combat and disrupt the enemy missiles. On the far side there, Archmage of Shadows chasing off some routed units, the last bit of the Jade Lances if anything, which means all the High Elf forces over here are left to fend for themselves without any spell support whatsoever. Now, some regrouped Silverhelms will be slamming into the backs of the Jade Warriors crossbows. Unfortunately, because they're so tattered and so thinned out in numbers, they can't really do that much damage overall. Same goes for these Silverhelms on the other side, and will be opting to rear charge these Jade Warriors, still fighting the White Lions of Trace. But now these White Lions, because their HP is so low, their martial prowess is deactivated. No longer enjoying that melee defense and melee attack buff, they are having a much harder time cutting through these Jade Warriors. With the Jade Warriors holding White Lions and Silverhelms in place, the Jade Warrior crossbows at the back are free to open fire at the High Elf unit stuck in melee combat, thus spelling the end of the last Silverhelms. The last bit of the White Lions will be moving up, but there are some Jade Warriors ready to intercept, and on the far side there are some regrouped Illyrian Reaver Archers. Perhaps they can perform some desperate rear charges to run down the last bit of Jade Warriors. The Arcane Phoenix has taken quite a bit of damage from the Dragon-blooded Shugengan Lord, who has 55 melee attack and 40 melee defense. She is actually a better melee combatant than the Arcane Phoenix at 47 attack, 41 defense. Before it lands, the Arcane Phoenix dropped an Ember Storm on the Jade Warrior crossbows, but the Jade Warrior crossbows were able to move out of the way, taking minimal damage from the Vortex ability. To save the Arcane Phoenix, the Shadow Archmage decided to duel the Shugengan Lord herself, casting the Withering on her target. The armor debuff allows the non-armor piercing eagle mount of the Archmage to do a little bit more effective damage against the Shogun Lord. Right now, the Arcane Phoenix is getting extremely low. If it gets a healing, maybe it will be able to win. Balance of power is slightly in the favor of the Grand Cathay army. Now the Shogun Lord is going after the Arcane Phoenix. One more hit, but here comes the fiery rebirth of the Arcane Phoenix, immediately topping off its HP. A really clutch RNG win for the High Elves, pushing the balance of power all the way in their favor. Now the High Elves are in control of the battle, regrouping. 11 Reaver Archers are charging at their crossbows. Jade Warriors being drained away by Malkov's mystifying miasma. The resistance of Cathay is getting weaker and weaker. The Shogun Lord is still fighting hard, dropping into melee combat, pushing back the 11 Reaver Archers, but the problem is that the two single entities occupy too much of that balance of power. They're just fighting back to back, rampaging through the battlefield with little to stop them. Especially now that the crossbows are either pushed off or silence disrupted, nothing was able to efficiently deal with these single entities. The Jade Warriors are moving in, but the bad news is that on the very far end of the battlefield, some Eagle Claw Boltthrower crews are actually secured, remounting an artillery unit. And now they are hammering the remaining Jade Warriors with their scatter shots. So that's probably it for the Grand Cathay army. Everything is routing, even the Dragon-Blooded Shogun Lord, and there goes army losses. GG to both Yumai and Anti-Kaiju. I really like Yumai's spell choices here, using the Malkov's Mystifying Miasma to deal with the large number units, and also Withering to reduce their armor and leadership, allowing the non-armor piercing units like the Silverhelms to break their opponents a lot easier. As a result, the Silverhelms got some pretty good value overall, while the Archmage of Shadows herself got quite a bit of value as well, earning back her worth for sure. For the rest of the army here, the White Lions of Thrace did pretty well into the Jade Warriors, and the Spears did okay as well. The Illyrian Reaver Archers unfortunately are countered by the Cathay Crossbows, while the Eagle Claw Boltthrower simply do not have good targets to shoot at this time. The Arcane Phoenix got a Chevron but didn't actually get that much damage value, mostly just using that Fiery Rebirth ability to regain the HP and crush their opponent by upholding that balance of power. For Grand Cathay, the Jade Lances didn't do too much damage. Actually, this one did fine. Most of the damage, I do believe, is dealt by the crossbows. As you can see here, they are a very cost-efficient missile unit. Although the Jade Warriors this time was not able to fight the White Lions well. Peasant Horsemen, they are just a cheap mobility unit to harass and pressure enemy missile troops, while the Crowmen, this time, because they're heavily targeted by a combination of spells and missiles, they got shredded before they can even earn back their cost. The Dragon-Blooded Shogun Lord did some pretty nice damage with the Talons of the Night and in melee as well, but just not enough to carry the game. That's it for today's battle. I hope you all enjoyed this multiplayer action, and if you want to see more Total Warhammer multiplayer content, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Tactical Lich, signing out.